Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we're diving together in the Ultra League with 4 team recommendations around Trevenant. We're gonna have those teams with its strongest assets, and of course we're gonna have those teams with their core breakers, so stay tuned till the end if you want to see each team and of course its capabilities on the meta and the current state of Ultra League, which is kinda weird to be honest. So we're having Trevenant up on the lead for the first one, which has already started on your screens. At the back, Tapu Fini as a safe switch, and as a closer I preferred that Galarian Stunfisk over any other steel type option because of Earthquake. So let's start off here a little bit with Trevenant, which is gonna be the lead option and of course has access to Shadow Ball and Seed Bomb, which is gonna cover a lot of things that the backline is afraid of. One of those things is gonna be Swampert because Galarian Stunfisk can really struggle against that Pokemon, and in combination with Tapu Fini, you can see where I'm going with this. We have some synergy around Swampert that will give a much better closing scenario for Galarian Stunfisk. Also, the backline can protect that Revenant from other threats, something like a Pidgeot for example, so you're gonna be on a very good spot when you're using this team very safely against the meta of Ultra League. As a core breaker, we got here Double because it has a unique moveset of Double Kick, Body Slam and perhaps Payback, so this Pokemon can do a lot of work individually against those Pokemon that we have here, but definitely not that strong of a core breaker. It is a very soft one because you're gonna see that in no time your Seed Bombs, your Earthquakes or even the Surf in combination with the Water Can damage can do some solid work against that Pokemon, and you can definitely pass through that obstacle with a little bit of synergy between your picks. Also, this line is gonna be one of the best that you can use currently for Ultra League because it is safe and because it has a very nice coverage against the meta with its movesets. Those Seed Bombs and Shadow Balls are gonna help you a lot neutrally against the meta. You have the Steel type defensive typing, which is gonna be pretty cool for your Stunfisk, resisting a lot of things against the Ultra League format, and of course Tapu Fini can be used as a safe switch option, especially with that Moonblast, which can hit hard even its counter, something like a Jellicent or a Trevenant for example. So with that in mind trainers, now let's dive into the next one. We continue on with a line that I believe is one of the best that you can use overall in Go Battle League. So here we got Talonflame, Trevenant and Swampert. This line is pretty safe to use. This line is popular for a reason, so there is no wonder as to why we're seeing it over here on the best teams around Trevenant. We have Talonflame up on the lead, followed up by Trevenant and Swampert. So this team is gonna be weak to the Giratina, but other than that I think you're gonna be just fine. You have coverage pretty much against anything, and even against Giratina, that Brave Bird, that Earthquake or even the Shadow Ball can still threat that OG of Ultra League down to 0 HP if they are not careful at all. So I would not be that much worried about Giratina, especially the altered form, which has either soft wins against the meta or soft losses. So with a little bit of synergy you can get out of there with not much trouble. Talonflame is gonna go straight for those Brave Birds without getting any anxious at all about the debuff, because after that Brave Bird you can always switch out to your safe switch, which is gonna be most of the times that Swampert with Earthquake able to deliver hard hitting damage even to its counters. Something like a Jellicent, something like a Walrein can still get destroyed down by that Earthquake with a pure nuke, especially if it comes out of a Shadow Swampert. If you have a regular one, just go for it, you are not gonna regret at all. Once again we have Trevenant here because this is a Trevenant video after all, and you are seeing that it is gonna be used here as a closer, while in the past team showcase we were using it as a lead. So as a closer it gets a lot of a better play. You're gonna see that in no time you're gonna get quick work of the opposing remaining shields because we're talking about the end game here, and of course the Seed Bomb is gonna help you a lot against water types, while Shadow Ball is gonna be your main way to go against most threats. A little bit of a change of scenery as we're proceeding into the next one. We're having Trevenant as our closer, while we understand its weakness. The main weakness that Trevenant is gonna have is gonna be the flyers, something like a Pidgeot for example, so pairing around the Trevenant to anti-flyers is gonna help you a lot. We have the Steel / Fighting type Pokemon Cobalion as our safe switch to bait out that Pidgeot or whatever else flyer your opponent might have, while we lead the team with Walrein with Icy Icicle Spear is gonna get there pretty fast with those Powder Snows, while the Earthquake is gonna help for real nice coverage against the Steel types. Most probably those Icicle Spears are gonna do the job by protecting the Trevenant, while the safe switch on the face of Cobalion can draw out that flyer and also hit it super effectively with that Stone Edge that it carries. Sacred Sword is still gonna be your main way to go when you're using Cobalion as a safe switch, so keep that in mind. The closer of this line is gonna be none other than Trevenant, so we're gonna use it especially with Shadow Ball as a closer, while Seed Bomb as always is gonna help a lot against Swampert and other water type moves, so Shadow Ball is gonna be once again your main way to go. The core breaker of this line is gonna be Scrafty, because Scrafty has an amazing moveset to destroy down teams that doesn't expect it. So we're having here the counter and power up punch combo, which can shred apart throughout Cobalion and Walrein if we are not careful, and of course Foul Play can destroy down even by one power up punch worth of an attack boost that Trevenant match up. So we're looking at a very powerful core breaker, but still kinda soft on its defensive sides, because 3 of those Icicle Spears or a back-to-back Sacred Sword, which is super effective by the way, can still deal with that threat, and of course the Seed Bombs can be added up in damage over time, so you're gonna be on a very good spot even against the Scrafty with your Trevenant on the long term of the battle. Sometimes Trevenant is not enough to close every battle on Ultra League, so then you might want to have something like a Charizard on your line. So we're gonna add up Charizard here and replace that Trevenant on the closing scenario for this line. We got Trevenant in the lead, Charizard as a closer, and Registeel as a safe switch. I really like how you can play aggressively here the Registeel to draw out the Swampert, farm it down with Trevenant, and of course sweep the entire team with that Charizard of yours. Charizard is gonna have an amazing matchup even against the opposing side's grass type, something like a Virizion or something like a Trevenant of their own, and of course you have a lot of neutral play against most of the meta. One thing that really scares me when I'm using Charizard is gonna be that Tapu Fini at the back, so you can see as to why the other two Pokemon can protect that Charizard not only from Swampert but also Tapu Fini. Swampert, you can always use your Registeel to draw it out of there, farm down with Trevenant, and of course finish off the match with your Charizard on an empty field. The core breaker here is gonna be Gliscor, because this Pokemon can go pretty well with its wing attacks and night slashes for sure, walling down that Trevenant matchup. Has a very nice play with Earthquake against Registeel and goes pretty neutral against Charizard, so Gliscor definitely a top meta threat for this line. Other than that, I don't think you're gonna see any other weakness for this line. You can still go ahead, use your moves, even a Shadow Ball or a Blast Burn can destroy down that poor Gliscor, so you might have the upper hand on the long term of the battle and on the end game. So that's all trainers, thank you for watching, thank you for staying till the end, just be sure to leave a huge like, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care trainers!